You are an Ironman!
Welcome to episode 55 and part 2 of Omagh Triathlon Club's takeover at the Ironman Copenhagen. What an absolutely amazing day. Myself and many other clubmates were absolutely glued to the Ironman app on the 17th of August. Our phones were pinging from early morning right through the day to the evening time, catching up on all the thrills and spills of Ironman. An unbelievable day for the club, and amazing for everybody that took part, and a fantastic spectacle for all those that went out and supported all the athletes. So we had, as we said in the first part, in the last episode, we had 18 people from the club had signed up for the Ironman. Now, on the actual day, 17 people started. We had 16 finishers and some absolutely fantastic times posted. First man across the line was Conor Maguire. An unbelievable time of 8 hours, 46 minutes and 41 seconds. Damien O'Hagan shortly in behind him at 9:24:36. Both of these times are absolutely fantastic. And both of these times beat Damien O'Hagan's previous club record of 9:40 and 23 seconds. So Damien went out with the intention of bettering the all-time high score and did that in some style. Conor Maguire absolutely smashed it, 100% smashed it out of the park. 8 hours, 46:41. Phenomenal time, brilliant athlete, and absolutely amazing performance on the day. We'll chat more to him later on. Sean Gillespie, I'll remember Sean from our last episode. Sean just wanted 9:59:59, if we can remember. He did better than that. Of course he did. He did 9:43:38. A brilliant performance from Sean. Followed closely as well by Jude Harkin, his partner in crime and training buddy, the two young guns from the club. Jude posted 9:47:39. Stevie McKenna, next man in, 10 hours, 17:24. Another fantastic effort. And our very own run coach, Darryl, coming in then behind Stevie in 10 hours, 28 and 31 seconds. Eddie Malloy done himself proud, 11 hours and 2 minutes and 2 seconds. And then it was Vinny McAtee coming in at 11:23:25. Fellow Fintna man Seamus Arkinson coming in behind Vinny at 11 hours 53 and 37. Followed then by the McDermotts, veteran Ironman stroke lady Lucy, posted a great time of 11:54:39. And did herself and the club proud despite carrying an injury. Hubby Padraig came in at 12 hours 11:55, and Adrian McKinney was closely in behind that in 12 hours 30 and 48. We'll all remember GT, Jared Turbot. Absolutely amazing performance from Jared. 12 hours, 42 and 4 seconds. Significantly, Jared took first place in his age group category for the 70 to 74-year-olds. Absolutely amazing, and got a well-deserved standing ovation at the awards ceremony, which was absolutely lovely to see. We got to see that from some of the video footage that some of the guys took and shared it in the WhatsApp group. So well done, Jared. Absolutely phenomenal effort. No words. Jarlath Murphy, first timer, 13 hours 21 52 seconds. Shane McGill, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of him, but he managed to get round it in 13 hours 42 minutes and 43 seconds. Last by no means least, across the line, Elaine Mallahan, in 15 hours and exactly 26 minutes. Absolutely unbelievable day out. We could start breaking down these statistics and looking at things in great depth, but all I'm really going to do is have a wee look at Conor Maguire posted the fastest swim on the day, which was 57 minutes and 23 seconds. So his average swim pace was 1 minute 31 per 100 meters. Brilliant swim. He talked about that swim as the best swim of his life. And we'll chat to him after a wee while and see what else he has to say about that. Damien O'Hagan had the quickest bike on the day. He got round the course in 4 hours 38 and 23 seconds. That gave Damien an average speed of 38.57 kilometers per hour, which is 24 mile an hour average in old money. Unreal stuff, absolutely amazing. And showing the young lads how it's done. Good man, Damien, absolute beast on a bike. Conor's run took the honours for the quickest run on the day. Sub 3 hour marathon of an Ironman is something special. Conor got the run polished off in 2 hours 55, and that equated to a 4:08 per kilometre, or 6:40 minutes per mile. Everybody did absolutely amazingly in the Ironman event, and one of the other things was the fact that Omagh Triathlon Club actually came 5th overall as a club in Ironman Copenhagen, which is absolutely unreal. When you think about a wee small club from Omagh battling it out there in the heat against the whole world, mind-blowing stuff. Of course, it helped with the numbers. It helped with the results. We had GT chalked up a lot of points for us for his first place podium. But what I want to do now is just come and we'll have a chat with some of the first-time athletes that have completed the event. I'm going to come to yourself, Jude. First of all, Jude, congratulations. You're in an Ironman. How does that sound?
Sounds just as amazing as last Sunday did, hey Michael. It was just amazing, like, to hear them words on the carpet. Like, you know, it's something I never would have thought I would have been able to do, you know, and to be sitting here now, as you say, as an Ironman, it's just amazing. Like, so it is, you know, it's
Tell
amazing.
me this, Jude. Whenever you said it's something that you thought you'd never be able to do, just talk me through that a wee bit, because I know what that's like. Because I was there one time. I could never contemplate being able to do any of the stuff that I've done. So it's really special, and it's lovely to hear you being so honest about it. But what's it like for you to having come from a place where you thought you would never be able to do something like this, to sitting there now contemplating whether or not you're going to get a tattoo on your calf?
Absolutely. Yeah, like, it's been a journey, to say the least. Like, you know, we started triathlon, me and Sean Gillespie, 4 years ago, you know, and both of us were just so novice. We didn't understand. We didn't even know what Ironman. Well, I know I myself, I didn't even understand what an Ironman was back in them days, you know. And like, at 16, I was told by doctors and different physicians that I would never be able to, you know, walk and run again. You know, carrying an injury that I got playing Gaelic football, and being wrote off completely. You know, and for
Right.
me to be standing here now today as an Ironman, you know, it just shows you that, like, as their motto goes, anything is possible. And, you know, at the start of the year, I started training for this Ironman, and I was excited at first when I signed up for it, you know, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know how many hours there's going to have to be put in, how many long weeks, week after week after week, you know, but anything is possible. And when you do the things that you need to do, you follow a training plan, you follow what's needed of you. You know, for me, it was actually quite enjoyable to actually enjoy that day of the Ironman itself. Like, you know, there was nervous surely that morning, but it was just the best day. The smile never came off my face that entire day, you know. And yeah, to be sitting here now today as an Ironman, completed Ironman, sub 10, all that there crack, you know, it was just amazing. Like, so it was unbelievable. Like, and like, I thought there was going to be a lot more tears and emotions, you know, coming from it all. But I was actually quite surprised, you know, as an emotional guy. there was no tears actually when I came across them lines. You know, it was just pure excited happiness. You know, unbelievable. Like, you know, just absolutely unbelievable.
You're one of the lads that I refer to as the young guns. You and Gillespie are the young guns. You have put in some shift. To be fair to you, you know, I've seen you many nights out running. You're putting in big times. Your acceleration and your commitment to the sport has seen you taking on, you know, the big guns in the club in terms of the bike. Your biking's coming on unreal. You're holding your own in the TT events there, the club TTs. Your swimming has come on really well as well. You know, you really are looking the part. And for you to go out on your first ever Ironman and take home the medal with 9 hours 47 is absolutely fantastic. Like, let's put that into context. That's only 7 minutes outside what was previously Damien O'Hagan's club record that he set back in Hamburg. So that time probably would have maybe Porrick. I know Porrick's on this call with us. Would that have actually beaten the previous club record 9:47?
Yeah, I think the previous club record was just under 10 hours. Mickey, maybe about 9:55 or in the 9:50s in that zone.
So credit where credit's due. That is some shift. And for four lads in the club to come in under 10 hours is an amazing feat as well.
Absolutely.
Tell me this, what parts of the Ironman did you enjoy, or was there any bits that you struggled, or did it just sort of kind of pan out the way you had anticipated?
Look, to be honest, Michael, it was a special day from the very get-go. Like, it was just, there's a lot of little different characteristics that came about that just showed me that I wasn't alone that day, you know. Coming from a bit of a spiritual background, you know, I felt like there was a lot of wee angels and a lot of wee guardian angels looking over me that day, you know. And it started, you know, from the Viking call that we do in the Viking clap, you know. That was just amazing. The swim itself, sure, it was tough. It actually didn't go as good as what I thought it would have went. I had a cramp and all this ear crack, like, but it was, you know, again, just persistent through it. I got myself a wee bit probably too excited at the start of the day and just gun ho straight in there, trying to follow Maguire, like, you know, which is a bad thing to do. You know, I thought my head was going to settle myself down, and I thought I did do that, but I didn't. Looking back, like now, like, you know, and even the cycle itself was just class, like Damien just came flying past me on that bike, so he did, and it was just like, wow, that's a machine there, like, you know. And you try to stick with that obviously for a while, but you know, rightly, you're just burning the gas cylinders, like, so I dropped the back, like, but as I say, the spiritual side of things, like, it was amazing for me for the run. You know, I was heading out in my run, and I kind of looked up in the sky and just shouted to my mum up above, like, and I goes, "Mum, come run this marathon with me, you know, follow me on this journey today," you know. And it really
Brilliant.
felt like it. Every step I took that day in that marathon, it felt like there was somebody underneath that step and taking it with me, you know. And it really was special. Like, that run was so amazing, like, you know.
No, that's a lovely thing to say. And I guess that's your why as such.
100%.
The other thing that I like about you, Jude, and I'm sure I speak for most of the people in the club, is you're a very positive young fella. You're always up for the crack. There's always a smile on your face, and every photograph that was posted of you on the thing is you have this big Cheshire cat grin. You really looked like you actually thoroughly enjoyed the thing, which is a bit bonkers because, you know, most people finish an Ironman and they're going, "Holy shit!" You know, it was a gruesome, long, cruel, and all day, but you genuinely looked like you had a real blast.
It was, it really was, which it was just everything about it, you know. It was just so much fun, you know, from the supporters that we had over there, you know, even the complete strangers. You know, that was a new experience for me. You know, complete strangers shouting your name, "Let's go, Jude, let's go, Jude," and you're like, "Who the heck is that?" But then you remember, oh, my name's on my badge, you know, my name's on my race number here, and it's just, and then every time they see you, they're picking you up again, like, and it's, you know, it's all them wee things that helped. I think another thing that helped was like I really loved the breakdown of the marathon being 4 laps. I thought that was just really fun. You know, it was a real easy breakdown in it compared to like, you know, I'd only ever done what 3 marathons before that, 2 official marathons before that, and they were long days. They were long days out, like, and they were tough on the mind, tough on the physical body as well, like. But I was kind of like anticipating that, but it just was completely opposite. It was so much fun. Like, it was so much fun, and like I've said it to other ones, like, and it's kind of funny to say, like, but it just felt like a James McManus, you know. It felt like a club race because there were so many of us there. It just felt like a club race, just a wee bit longer. So that's what I've been saying to everybody, like, you know, it's just been like try the lock, just a wee bit longer, you know.
You're a lad that enjoys the crack and the buzz off people, and that format then for the run really, really helped with you.
100%.
You fed off the crowd, and then tell me a wee bit about just the experience of. I know there's so many spectators out there, and even meeting the guys running up and down on the run course. It's always nice to see your mates and give each other a wee shout out and a high five and whatnot. Probably helped a lot too.
100%, 100%. Like, and you know, I knew rightly there was a few boys coming in behind me, coming in hot. You know, I knew like the likes of like Stevie and Sean, and as I say, Damien already caught me on the bike and he was flying past me. You know, and I knew these boys were coming in. These boys had a lot of experience under their belts, and I knew rightly they were coming in hot. So Gillespie caught me in the first lap, and it was class to see that. You know, he's an unbelievable athlete. So he is, like, you know, and he came flying past me. And I goes, head on there, son. I'm not bothering staying with you, you know. But then actually I was like, you know what, Jude, actually, you know what, we will stay with each other for a while. Like, you know, we got into this crack 4 years ago together. Let's just do maybe 1 lap together. So we done 1 lap, and his pace was a wee bit hotter than mine. And maybe in another day, with a wee bit more experience under my belt, I might have been able to stay with him and stuff like that there, you know. But I was scared of cooking myself, you know. I was scared of the gas mark being too high. So I wanted to drop it back a wee bit. So I dropped it back and stayed to my plan. And I let him go after the first lap. And he was just shifting. And I was like, look, that boy's going to do well today. So I came running past Eve, the girlfriend, and I shouted over there, I goes, what do I need to do pace-wise to get a 3:45 marathon? Because I knew rightly if I did a 3:45, that was me in under the 10-hour mark. So she told me the pace I was needed to go, which was like a 5:15 or 5:20 or something like that. I was like, hey, okay, I can do that. So I just dropped her back, put her into cruise control, hey, and just settled into that run. And as you say, like, you know, I just thrived off the people that were on the course, high-fiving people, shouting at people. You know, you're not supposed to do that in a marathon. You're not supposed to shout at one another. You're supposed to conserve as much energy as you can. But for me, it was like, it drives me on when I see Damien, let's go, Dave. You know, I see Conor, let's go. You know, that drives me on too, you know. And it's just amazing when you see everybody out in the course high-fiving and everything like that. It picked me up massively, you know. And yeah, like, that was it. We got to the 4th lap then, and I was like, okay, let's start upping it now a wee bit, you know. And it was nice to be able to know that I could. I still had a wee bit of legs on me, and the legs responded. I was able to up the pace again and start even closing in that gap that wee bit as well, like, you know. And it all shows to the true dedication that you put into it, like, you know. I was just looking there before I joined here, like, you know, it was 60 hard weeks of consecutive training that was put into this. 60 hard weeks. Sure, there was a few deload weeks among that there, but there were 60 hard weeks put into that. And it was there last Sunday that we really got to really see fruition of that. Like, you know, it was just get to enjoy the whole event, like, you know, because none of that event wasn't as tough as some of the hard weeks of training that was put into it, like, you know. And I've never done that before. This is my first year of actually putting true dedication into my training. You know, previously I would have just turned up and done sessions with my friends, the likes of Sean, the likes of Damien, the likes of Daryl, you know, turned up and just done just sessions, whatever they were doing. And I was just there, as you say, for the crack. But this year I put true to, like, I devoted myself to this, like, you know, and I reaped the rewards for it, like, you know, as you said previous there about even the TT and stuff. I'm seeing results in other places as well. You know, it's not just this Ironman I see results in. It's throughout everything in this club. It's that I'm getting results in, and it's amazing. You know, it's mind blowing for me, and it's a good reward, because that means next year I'm going to keep at this, and hopefully close that gap. Mr. Maguire, even maybe something like that there. But
Good man. I like the sound of that. Jude, you've answered one of my questions already. I was going to ask, would you go at it again?
100%. I would go again. 100%. Like, it was fun. It was fun. Now, I don't know if I would go for a course the likes of a fast course and go for that time again, or maybe go for a bit of a dog day. Maybe something like Lanzarote or Wales or something like that. That's kind of interesting me more so at the minute.
Good man. Yeah.
Go for one of them long, hard days out, with a different type of challenge behind it. But who knows? It's still early doors yet. I'm still debriefing.
That's right. It takes a while for it all to sink in. But here, you've done amazingly well. You've done yourself proud, your mum proud, and the club proud. And I'm buzzing for you. Absolutely class catching up with you. So you keep doing what you do, lad. And I'm sure Maguire will be looking over his shoulder. Up next, we have Padraig McDermott. You too are an Ironman. How does that sound?
That sounds good, Michael. Sounds very good. It was a long journey for me. I'm not like the young guns. I'm more of an older gun. I'm more of an old double-barreled shotgun, sort of. Took me a bit longer. I was just thinking back. I first started. I joined the club back in 2012, and so I've been about the club a long time, watching a lot of people take on Ironman and achieve their goals. And I've always sat back and said, no, not for me. Just my life and my young kids back then, and then work got in the way, and it was just one of those things that just says no, I could never give the time and dedicate the time to doing. So this year, 2025, I guess a lot of things aligned sort of to make me make the decision to go and take on the event. I guess that was like I turned 50 at the start of the year, so I thought, 50 is a lot of things change in your life when you hit 50. So I thought it was going to be the time to take it on. And then last year, when I was over with Damien when he was doing the double brutal, and a few months before that, up in Knockmany, we were doing a long run one night. We were doing a 30-mile run, or Damien was doing it, and we were doing sections of it. And he sort of said to me, "Come on, McDermott, you'll do this Copenhagen. You'll do this Copenhagen." And a moment of weakness, I shook his hand on a path in Knockmany, and that set me on a trajectory which took me to Copenhagen last week.
Brilliant stuff. I know Hagen. It was a romantic evening in Knockmany Forest under a moonlit sky and all the rest. But hey, you might be an old gun, but you're still fair and rightly, Padraig, for you got round it in some fashion.
Look, I was very happy. Look, I don't have the same engine as the likes of Jude and Sean and Damien and Conor and all these sort of boys. It's just I don't have the same time that I can give to training. I work overseas and I will be traveling a lot, and I have a very inconsistent schedule. So I always knew, Jared Turbot would always say to you about training for Ironman and exceeding an Ironman. It's all about consistency, hitting all those sessions and hitting them and not missing any, and really being consistent throughout the time. So I always knew it was going to be difficult for me with traveling, and really what I had to do was I'd be over in England about 4 days a week, so I joined a gym over there, and I just made the decision up every morning at 5:30 in the gym for 6 o'clock, and done that 3 mornings a week, and really done that just from January. I'd looked upon it as a sort of 32-week block of just training every week, and then come home on a Thursday night, and then maybe a wee run on a Friday morning, and then Saturday and Sundays was my long days when I done my long runs, and then got out and done my brick sessions on the Sundays. So it was hard, but it was very, very rewarding at the end.
You've always had a real good solid foundation, Padraig. You're a modest enough sort of a lad there. You're not giving away too much secrets, but you have banged out God knows how many 70.3s. I think maybe last year, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure you will. Did you do about 5 or 6 last year alone, or was it the year before?
I sort of usually do a couple every year, you know. I was just counting back in total. I think I've done 14 70.3s over that period of time, you know. From I think the first one I done was a great wee 70.3 up in Groomsport in North County Down. Used to be a great one. Organised by a guy from Belfast, and that was the first one I done. I think I was back in 2017. So then I really hit the 70.3s, and I've done Lanzarote, done Bagheera 3 or 4 times, done Dungannon 3 or 4 times, Shapehaven. I went off to South Africa one time to a place called East London and done a 70.3 down there. Very, very tough one. So, yep, I've knocked off a hell of a lot of 70.3s over the years, you know.
That stood you in good stead, like, you know, and you're a solid athlete with a real solid background. One of the things as well that you do a lot of cycling. So I was always convinced that you wouldn't have any issues with taking the jump from 70.3 up to the full distance because of your cycling, because of your experience in triathlon over how long? 13 years or something?
13 years, I guess. Looking,
Aye.
I just seen it done like a project. You just had to manage it right from you started training till the event. I knew this one would be fine. I knew the bike was a reasonably flat bike course, so I knew we'd get round that. And then the run, I knew the run would be the one where the let's say the pain would kick in at some time, you know. So I knew it was just a matter of when that was going to kick in. And I was very happy, as Jude said earlier on, you know, it was 4 10K loops. So really you were just saying, right, this is 4 10Ks, done loads of 10Ks, I can knock these off. And the first 10K was fine, rattled through it, I think in 50, 56, 57 minutes. And then on the second one, that's when the pain started kicking in, I guess. And it's hard at that point. Took on plenty of fuel on the bike, but running, I find it very difficult to take on fuel. Your stomach starts getting upset, and it's very hard to take in fuel. So then I stopped taking in fuel. So I just knew how to manage around the next 3 laps.
You've done loads of different swims in various places. How did the swim in Copenhagen compare to some of the swims that you've done in the past?
Look, in terms of a swim, Copenhagen, if anybody knows it, it's a sort of a sheltered bay. It's not like going into the Atlantic Ocean. It's not going into a choppy large loch or anything like that. It's you know, the sea is quite a calm sea, and then inside the sea you have a bay called Omagh Strand, and the sea, it's a very, very protected bay, sandbanks on each side. So I think if anybody was doing their first one, anybody was slightly nervous, it's certainly one to consider if someone's nervous of swimming. But the swim was basically kind of an out and back. We were in the water at 7:05. I got in a good early group. I got in, me, Lucy and Jared, went in at the same time, followed them on their heels. So there's a good opportunity for getting in on people's heels and drafting on the swim. Very safe. You know, your boys on your left hand side as you head out, and on the right hand side is only maybe 30 or 50 meters to the sandbank. So you're never in deep water. You're never far away from safety, you know, if you do get into any difficulty. And you just nip it off. There's a couple of bridges. You go under the bridges, and then you go out into a little bit of area where you're kind of in the open sea, and then you turn left, and then back in again, and it's just all the way back in the way you came on a straight run back. The swim, fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. In terms of my own sort of target, my target was kind of maybe a 125, and I got around it in 118, so it was about I was
Brilliant.
5, 6, 7 minutes ahead of target. So fine, fantastic swim, extremely safe, very calm bay.
Good stuff. You've had a few brutal swims in the past. You were down there in Cork as well whenever I did my first Ironman, the 2023. So Copenhagen, it sounds really sheltered, very protected. And then there's the other aspect of it as well, that the spectators are kind of on top of you as well. Did you find that as a distraction, or did that kind of spur you on a bit?
No, it definitely spurred you on, because even the bridges, you go under two very low wooden bridges, which you walk, which the days before you're walking across them all the time. And actually when you're coming down to those bridges, it's literally, the bridges are literally only to the bottom of the bridge is maybe only 2 meters above your head, and then the people are standing above that. So as you're swimming, you can hear the roaring and the shouting, and you could almost, with a high arm, you could almost touch the bridge, So the noise going onto those bridges is absolutely amazing. And as you come out the other side, it's the same, and then over the second bridge. But yeah, look, there's never, I can't see there ever been, even in high seas or extreme wind, there's going to be no waves in there like we experienced in Cork back a few years ago. Completely different type of location.
It sounds like a great swim, and it sounds like a great event. And I suppose it's one that Omagh Triathlon Club have done themselves proud of. Every single one of these has done amazingly.
Yeah,
Park, thanks very much for coming on.
No
and last question, just before you slide on, is would you go again?
Would I go again? I'll probably look. I don't think I would go next year. This took a serious shift for me to get this one out of the way. A lot of stuff. Really, you have to put your life on hold. There's 32 weeks where you're going, I have to do this, I have to do that. I can't. Like today, for example, was the first Sunday I didn't go out in the Sunday cycle from January, and I spent the day in the garden. I was cutting grass, I was trimming hedges, I was pulling weeds, and these are weeds that needed to be pulled 6 months ago, 3 months ago. And
that's right, yeah.
And everything. The thing is, everything has to go on hold, and you have to be very really selfish in your own training plan, and everything else has to take a back seat. So would I go again? Would never say never. I would do, certainly. I might get back to get another 13 70.3s out of the way. Maybe do that. build a better base again, Mickey, and then build it up. So I don't think I'll do one next year. I would give it a rest, but maybe in 2 years' time again. I would maybe take one on. Depends on what way things are, how work's going, where you're at in your life, and how busy you are.
Yeah, well, here I can empathise with you in the turning 50 and the midlife crisis and the whole Ironman thing and all, so.
Yeah.
Maybe in the winter, whenever we're up in the Gorge and Glens on a dark Tuesday night, we might have an old discussion like you and Damien had. We might shake hands on God knows what. But
I would be very concerned to think what would happen when Conor and Jude and boys like that turn 50. What they would sign up to,
I know here if these lads are doing this now at their age, what were we not like at their age? Seriously.
I know that. So yeah, absolutely. So no, fantastic for the club. Copenhagen, 2-hour flight, easy to get to, easy to get around, an amazing city. Really, really, really good event. It's very, very special event for Omagh Triathlon Club.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you, Park. Next up, we have Stevie McKenna. Stevie, absolutely amazing day out for you, kid. 10 hours, 17 minutes, 24 seconds. Tell me all about it.
Thanks, Mickey. Well, as you know, I'm still relatively new to the whole triathlon scene, and I suppose mixed emotions in terms of the race, and it's such a whirlwind. I'm still probably trying to get my head around it to some extent. In one way, I'm disappointed with my time, which you might think, well, why would you be disappointed with that time? But I suppose my swim didn't go well, and I suppose it just didn't deliver on the day what I had hoped to, and that's not because I was aiming for a particular time. It was more just about my training and what I felt I could be able to do. So, but I keep slapping myself around the face and say, "Wise up! Hey, you've just gone out and completed an Ironman without being able to swim the year before." So, so I suppose a bit of mixed emotions, but overall, fantastic experience.
I was going to interrupt you there and tell you to have a wee word with yourself. And maybe it's just a wee bit too soon after the event, and maybe you are being a wee bit too self-critical, and you're maybe overanalyzing the thing a bit too much. But what you've done and where you've come from not being able to swim a length of the pool this time 12 months ago to complete an Ironman, Stevie, that's unreal.
I know, and I suppose that's what I keep telling myself. After the swim, I was really disappointed, and I suppose in the moment, I was quite dizzy coming out of the water, and I knew my time wasn't good, and I really had to focus on hitting the reset button to really say, right, that's done. Thankfully, you got through it safely, and just focus on the next steps now. And it probably took me the first half an hour of the bike to get my shit together, and it was quite twisty anyway. That first 15k, like you're up and down footpaths, it was very, very, very technical. But I'd say half an hour it took me to get myself settled, probably get my heart rate down, and just get into it properly.
I suppose the takeaway for you, Stevie, is that the next time you line up, if you are ever going to line up in a longer event, your swim will be that much stronger. So the likelihood of you having to go through that experience the next time round will be significantly reduced. So, if you think about it in that respect, it'll not be the same next time. You'll be coming out of the swim maybe not gassed, feeling a wee bit more positive and feeling a wee bit better and about yourself.
Yeah, no, totally. And like I'm a big believer in terms of the learning, what learning you take away. And I know I'm a better athlete from having done that. And you can't replicate some of that. Getting into the water with hundreds of thousands of people, you just can't replicate that in your training. So like I've had probably a few bad open water experiences, but each time I've taken away from that as to, well, hope we should be stronger for next time. So just trying to draw the positives out of it.
That's the way to do it, Stevie. 100%. Very keen to chat to you about the bike aspect of Copenhagen Ironman, because you obviously come from a cycling background. What did you make of the course, and what is your takeaways? What's your own personal learning from your experiences?
Yeah, well, a huge amount of things I've learned through the whole experience. Like the course, on your question, the course was not easy. I think the course was quite, it was definitely rolly and it was quite tactical. And actually, at times, it felt a bit like a road race because it was so twisty. You were getting caught up with lots of other riders, and you had to be concentrating to some extent as well. But the course was nice. I suppose other than the last, the bits getting out of the city and back into the city was very tactical. Didn't really enjoy that too much, but actually, I'm quite comfortable in the technical stuff, so that was fine. One of the biggest learnings I had from the whole prep was, you need to train on whatever bike you're going to race on, and this was a rookie mistake for me. Like coming from being a road cyclist, that's what I enjoy riding. But I had planned to ride my time trial bike, and again, the mistake I made was just didn't spend time on the time trial bike. So particularly on the day with that distance, like my neck and my shoulders were all very sore because I had only actually done 2 cycles over half an hour on the time trial bike. And that just was nowhere near, that's not what I would advise someone to do. I suppose it's just practicalities of life. That's just kind of how I ended up doing it. And actually, it was only Tri-Tyrone was the first time I was on the TT bike over half an hour. So that was a huge takeaway. And for next time, training on the bike you're going to race. And if you're going to race on the road bike, then train on that. But if you're going to plan to race on your time trial bike, train on it. And I know Conor can probably testify to that. He does a lot of work, and that pays off because then your condition, your muscles, your legs, your neck, your back, everything, and just confidence as well.
Did you find, Stevie, that some of the stress from the shoulders and the upper back and that, did you find that impacting on the run at all in any way? And I know some people might think that maybe that doesn't impact on the run, but it really does. Everything kind of all adds up.
Yeah, totally. And I was really looking forward to getting off the bike just to get straightened up and kind of, get stretched. And thankfully it didn't, because I had purposefully eased off the bike the last half an hour to make sure that I was going to be fresh, and saving the legs for the run. So that was a massive thing, just in terms of training what you're going to race on, getting conditioned on it, because you're using your legs very differently, your muscles on a time trial bike, as well as just the safety aspect. And like, so for example, James McManus was my first event of the year and ended up on the hedge because I just wasn't confident on it. It was quite windy. And my own fault, first mile in, and I ended up kissing tarmac. So, you learn the hard. Well, I'm quite good at learning the hard way. it's definitely not how I would recommend learning.
Stevie, whenever you look at yourself, maybe in a couple of weeks, and wee bit more gentle with yourself, you'll realize where you have come from and what you have achieved. And just to put it into context, whenever I'm speaking with you, you came fifth out of 16 finishers. You know, you did all right, lad. 10 hours, 17. That's an amazing time by anybody's standards. One of the things that I did as well, and I actually didn't mention this in the previous episode, was with all the statistics that GT had given me, I ran an AI statistical mean average of all the times of all the Ironman finishes, and the average time is well over 15 hours. You're taking 5 hours off that, albeit it's a different course and whatnot. But just take note, take stock of that, and when you come back, you'll be bigger and badder and faster than ever.
No, cool, Mickey. And sorry, the other thing on the bike I would mention is, you know, the nutrition aspect is a huge part. And, you know, I had practiced that, and I thought I had it fairly, you know, dialed in. But on the day, it didn't work out for me. I ended up got issues on the run. Again, so that was a big learning for me. And again, practicing in your training. I've practiced a lot of nutrition when I'm running and marathon run training. But I suppose it's just the overall time that you're then out there, and in kind of that, it was, you know, a particularly warm day. It was what, 22, 23 degrees and direct sun. So I suppose again that's another important thing, because that's the biggest discipline that you're out on. So practicing your nutrition and your hydration, and sticking with the products that you're used to.
Big question coming. Would you do it again?
Oh, definitely unfinished business in my own head. Yeah, and I've learned so much. Like, there's no way, if anybody thinking about an Ironman, like last year when I started triathlon, like an Ironman was the furthest thing from my mind. I didn't think I would ever do it, but fair play to the club. They put it sort of it out there, and I thought, well, if I'm ever going to do one, maybe this is a time to do it, because the big club numbers. And you know, the whole experience I've enjoyed from start to finish. Like, in terms of personal learning, learning about the whole aspect of the sport. I would never have learned that if I hadn't signed up for the Ironman. And so I need to consolidate now. And so, yes, you know, I think in the future I would definitely come back to do one, but I have a lot to learn and a lot to improve on before I toe the line again.
Good man, Stevie. Absolutely amazing. Thanks very much for coming on and sharing some of that, your experiences there. And I look forward to lining up with you soon.
And I'll hand you over to that other beginner there, Conor, shortly.
Yeah,
yes, indeed.
First time maybe as well, yeah.
That's the seamless link takes us over to, last but not least, Mr. Conor Maguire. Conor, I wanted to keep you give you the last word, as it were.
Yeah, I'm a man of very few words, as a lot will know from the club. So I think we'll wrap this up very, very quickly. There was maybe a few talking points, but that we'll get through in my race at Ironman Copenhagen, yeah.
Conor, you went out there on a mission, I think it's fair to say. I remember speaking with you many months ago, and you had told me on the side and quite quietly that you were hoping to do really well, that if everything went to plan, that you would like to be able to get to Nice if everything went to plan. And at this point, you had never done a full marathon even. You had done the half Ironman distance.
Half Ironman,
yeah, many times.
Yeah.
You're a guy who is known within the club and within the Irish scene as an explosive athlete. You're very quick, you're powerful, explosive. And a lot of us were wondering how this was going to translate whenever we doubled up on the distances from 70.3 to 140.6. I think the only man that really wasn't curious or wondering what was going to happen was possibly yourself, Conor.
Yeah, so I turned 30 earlier this year, Mick, and I decided, right, this is going to be the year that I run a marathon. This is going to be the year that I do a full Ironman. Been training with Omagh Triathlon Club now 10 years, and I done a number of sprints, a number of Olympics, good number of halves, and a lot of people always said to you, when are you going to get around to doing an Ironman? So this just felt about right, and we booked Ironman Copenhagen maybe 11 months ago, and a great number of people had all booked. And having the squad training with you throughout winter months, early spring, full way through to the summer, was a massive, massive helping hand. Couldn't have done it without them. So this was the time, definitely. It just felt right.
Part of the banter in the run up to it was Damien O'Hagan had taken the new club record at a 9 hours 40 minutes.
I was very glad that he took that record and that he set a very good bar. He did 9:40 whenever he went to Hamburg, and from that he said, windy bike, a really wet day, twisty run, I'm going to go quicker in Copenhagen. And that was a lot of fuel and flame to the fire of all the things that I had built myself up that I intended to do at this Ironman Copenhagen. Up until now, we've had some amazing achievements in the club, but we've had maybe not as many people going sub 10 hours as we had hoped. So having myself, Damien, who's done it twice now, and having Jude and having Sean, who've all been under sub 10 hours alongside Pete Neal, of course, absolutely amazing. Brilliant achievement for club members.
Damien wasn't going to hang around. I guess we all knew that anyway. He was going to lay down a solid time just for himself personally. He wanted to beat his own record. He absolutely smashed his own record. He went round obviously in 9:24. But you went hammers and tongs, or maybe you didn't. I don't know. I'm curious to find out how you managed to go around. What was going through your head? Swim, bike, and run. Talk me through 8 hours, 46 minutes, and 41 seconds of Ironman.
So the goal was sub 9, and to do sub 9, I had been in multiple maybe online apps and calculators and looking at previous race data from years gone by. There's a great website, Coach Cox, which gives you previous Ironman times, list of entries, and most importantly, qualifying times for the likes of the World Championships, which of course was the goal for this race. So I had in my mind process-driven goals. You can say, oh, I want to do sub 9, but you got to think, how are you going to do it? So breaking down the swim, wanted to swim sub 1 hour, partly because it sounds cool, secondly, because I believe I can do it. To swim sub 1 hour, you've got to swim 1:35 per 100 meters. CSS speed at the moment's coming in about a 1:26. So I knew that it was going to be a big challenge in open water, but our training this year, led of course by Michael Holland in the pool, has been fantastic. The few days before the actual Ironman Copenhagen race, on the Monday night session, was maybe the most horrible, gruesome session in which people were nearly being sick. For some reason, there was sprints, all out 50s, 100s, 200s, and Mick was at the end of the session, he's like, you're going to thank me on Sunday whenever you have the best run of your life at Ironman Copenhagen. This is to loosen the arms and toughen you up for it. And yeah, actually it was the best swim of my life. 57 minutes 25 seconds. So big shout out to Michael Holland, swim coach, Omagh Triathlon Club. So swim went exactly the plan. Brilliant, great start to the race. Get into T1, the swim bag, lovely position on the hanger. Get it, rip the wetsuit off, down some protein bar that I had, find the bike, and brilliant, way you go out of T1. And then I was going to do a flying mount. I do it for every sprint triathlon race. Now I know the time savings are absolutely minimal, but I look down whenever I've got the flying mount on, and my left shoe is completely off the strap, okay? And I'm trying my best to get it in through the wee handle, and nope, not working whatsoever. So I get out of the bridge, maybe about 400 meters out of transition, just to get out of the way of other cyclists. And I have to completely stop. It takes me about maybe 30, 45 seconds, even whenever I was looking through the Garmin data afterwards, to get it in and strap it on and get going again. So get back on the bike, and I think to myself, right, if that's the worst thing that's going to happen today, then that's not going to be a bad day. Just write it off, get in. So I'm cycling down, and it's, as Stevie said, it's very twisty. It's not nice getting out of Copenhagen because you're up and down cycle paths, up and down curves, twisty bits over bridges. And I notice tiny bit of wiggle in the handlebars. me and Eddie Malloy were adamant that we had tightened the front mech, and absolutely there was the tiniest wiggle to the left. Now, am I blaming Eddie? Yes. Am I blaming myself? Yes. It was a joint effort, okay? So we need to send a full bike mechanic out with me how to Nice Ironman World Championships. If anyone's willing to volunteer, just slide into them DMs. Anyway, I get back in the bike and I know, right, it's only wiggling, it's grand, it's stable, get on with it, okay? Get out of Copenhagen, out into the open roads. Great. As Stevie said, it's a very technical bike course. You are working absolutely flat out. It feels like a road race. It feels just absolutely bikes in front of you, behind you, overtaking you. You're gonna have to go and overtake people. It is non-stop working and concentrated. So anyway, on the bike, power numbers are good. Process goals, sticking to the average heart rate that I wanted in around 145 to 150. Watts are sitting about 240, 250. Exactly. Everything's going to the plan. Okay. So out on a big stretch of road and maybe 30 miles into the bike. Okay. Hour and a half into the bike overall, maybe. And
You can hear a butt. You can hear a butt coming here now. There's a butt coming.
I reached down for my bottle, and whatever happened, just the tiniest bump on the road, and put me off balance. I believe the front wheel then collided with the edge of a cone, and I hit the deck. It goes from 22 mile an hour down to 0, absolutely straight out on the ground over the handlebars. Take a fall, mostly on my elbow. My side is hit as well between my hip. I get a gash just over my knee and between there and the shin, and later found out I had one on my back as well. So your first reaction, of course, is how's the bike? Okay, first thing you think about. Okay, it's not even am I hurt? How's the bike? Okay, adrenaline's absolutely surging through me at this stage. So I pick up the bike. I get out of the way first from the pace line, and what is very busy. Of course, in Ironman rules, they say if another competitor crashes, you must stop. You must help them. I didn't see one person help them, but anyway, on to looking at the bike, and the chain is completely off, and it is wedged within the chainstay. And I'm thinking, how am I going to get out this? So I start giving it as hard as I can, just trying to yank it, pull it out. I no budge whatsoever. Get a brainwave. Remember watching Tour de France earlier this year when Pogacar couldn't get his chain out. Mechanic came over, spun the pedals back, number of rotations fast as he could, pull the chain out. Whenever I'm doing that, chain comes out. Then I look at the front of the bike. Brakes completely bent inwards, front tri bars completely bent inwards, and I think to myself, right, I'm gonna have to straighten this. Say the rosary whenever you're doing it, okay? So started saying my prayers and straightened out that front. Brake first, straightened out, didn't hear a cable snap. Just gripped the brake, seemed to be working, great. Looked at the tri bars then, bent inwards on the front brake change, bent it straight again, and changed the gear, spun the pedals again, and seemed to be working. Get on that bike, Connor. Get back in this race. Okay?
Brilliant.
Get back on the bike. Adrenaline's absolutely surging through me. I looked down at my heart rate, and I think it was my highest heart rate of the race at 170 something. So then I'm back out on the bike, and that's great. Brilliant. But I start hurting. Exactly where I took the fall was where I had the pressure points on my elbow for the pads and the tri bar of the bike, and it's a lot of pain. So it's that I was riding the tri bike for a lot of that race like a road bike, holding it nice and wide, but to be honest, isn't ideal in terms of being aero and trying to be as tucked in as you can. But again, needs must whenever it was in a lot of pain. The cycle got back, stuck to my power numbers, settled down a bit. I was very glad to see the end of the bike route. I think emotionally, I was absolutely exhausted at the end of that bike with the spike of emotions, adrenaline that I went through. The bike, whenever I think about it, the only thing I think about is crashing. I have no idea the roads that we went. I don't know if there was nice countryside out there. I didn't see it. I just, at the moment, still preoccupied thinking about the crash. And again, what could have been. I'm very unfortunate to come off the bike. Again, I think I was just from personal accountability perspective, just a lapse of concentration in just a split second, and that's all it took to go down. And that's one of my big learning from this. Again, I'm very fortunate that the bike was working. Again, whenever I brought it into Darnell and Caldwell's, he looked at it and goes, "Connor, how'd this bike make it to the finish line 80 mile after crashing? The back derailleur is completely bent inwards. It needs completely changed." And how that stayed on definitely feels like there was something watching over me then. So I've had crashes before in races. Back in Ballyshannon a few years ago, I crashed and got back up on it, and started off running okay, but then limping started. Whenever the adrenaline kind of left the body a wee bit, and things stabilized, that's whenever the pain came, and that was one of the worries in my head. So I got through the bike, through the T2. Crowds were absolutely amazing. I think Katrina and Desi McAleer had bulldozed their way to the front. They were screaming, going wild. Having that support on the course, absolutely amazing. Sit down on the benches, put on the running trainers, and I'm like, right, we're on. We're 2 feet again, and you have less chance of falling down. Let's go for this run, okay? Get out in the run, and start feeling absolutely amazing. Go out of there, adrenaline, and feeling good. Just to be that glad on the run. Start off running far too fast, but again, it feels easy. I'm just absolutely shocked how good it felt in the run heading out, and I was like, just slow down, stick to your pace numbers. I wanted to go out and run a sub 3 hour marathon, and to do that I had to do 6:52 pace per mile, and just bring it back to them numbers, keep the heart rate down, keep getting gel in pretty much every aid station, getting something to eat every single aid station I was going through. If there was someone holding out cups, you grab every single thing in front of you. Sponge, grab it, you name it. And along the way in the run, you're getting the small boost from seeing people and maybe in the lap 2, I seen Damien coming my way, and I remember exactly what Damien said in your podcast pre Copenhagen, of course, that if he's seen Conor Maguire laying over the side of a board, it would be worth 5 minutes to him. And I'm thinking to myself, you're not getting any time from me today, boy. I mean, because I am running this to the finish, and I am going to run at exactly this pace. So not a chance. So then you get boosts along the way. Seen Jude doing extremely well. Seen Stevie. Seen of course Sean. A few others as well. Lucy and that type. Just boost the crowds. Absolutely amazing. You've got DJs out there. You've got a rock somebody performing AC/DC out there on repeat. I seen Magnus Ditlev at one time. Give him a high five, and I asked him why wasn't he doing the race today? And he said to me he's got the World Championships in a few weeks' time. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't say it, and I was like, I'm going to see you there, Magnus. So I was feeling great. Body started hurting last lap. Last 10k, this is completely new territory. And quads start feeling it. But again, you're on the home straight. Vibes are good. And made it through the finish line, and my plan was try and slow down, take in the moment a wee bit. No, I absolutely sprinted through that finish line, just about hit the bell for the first time, and the announcer didn't even hear. I think I heard Connor for the first time, "You are an Ironman," I think was the commentary. Put my arms out wide screaming, and get over the finish line. I have no idea what time I had done at that stage, what the overall time was. I knew I just had it set on run mode on my Garmin. So I looked down, seen it at 2:55, and I'm like, oh my days, what? You didn't stick to the plan, but that's okay. That's faster than what you wanted. So sat down, and I will say this now, just to get Damien back. I sat for absolutely ages waiting for him to finish. And I was waiting, and I got cold, and nearly they had to put tinfoil on me. I had to go and get my finisher jersey to keep myself warm. No, I wasn't that far behind me. It was only 30 minutes. What was it, 30 minutes or so? He done extremely well too. And so see Jude come over the line, see Sean come over the line, well under sub. Steve's not far behind. Just brilliant. People had warned me after an Ironman, you're going to get emotional. And yeah, absolutely. Sat up beside the finish line and did a good bit of crying. Absolutely. I think it was just a mixture of emotions, highs and lows that day, between thinking your race was over and crashing to feeling absolutely amazing on the run and hitting the target time that you wanted. Absolutely smashing the record for the club, and in the process I already knew in my head that was a record from anyone from the north of Ireland and Ulster. So amazing. Unbelievable. And I knew in my head that I'd done enough to get that qualification spot for Nice. So after that, whenever everyone finished, I was straight over the tent. They had Carlsberg on tap. It's far better where it's brewed in Copenhagen. I would definitely recommend the race to anyone. Just bring a lot of Danish krona. Just be prepared to tap your Revolut card and worry about the consequences later whenever you get home. But amazing city, amazing place to race, and for the club overall, I thought it was just one of my highlights of being a part of Omagh Triathlon Club. I'm proud to be a part of it.
Like, I was going to just add to a point for Conor's run, just to add it to perspective. So that 2:55, that's a slow run course. There's 4 laps. Each lap there's probably 3 dead turns, and there's a lot of 90 lefts and 90 rights, and there's quite a number of K on cobbles as well. So for him to run 2:55, like, that's a slow course. So that's even makes it even better in terms of what he did on the day. So brilliant, like, well done to him.
You're safe.
Absolutely. It's an amazing day out for you, Conor, and for the club, and for us all back home, just kind of watching and following. You know, when you think about, you finished 72nd overall out of 2,500 people.
72nd, yeah. There was 50 male pros within that. I think there was 45 pros or whatever finished. I think I beat 3 of them. Which was nice. I fully believe that I hadn't crashed. Hadn't stopped even early on in the shoe in that that I would have been 5 to 10 minutes quicker on the bike. 100% I believe that. But anything that's motivation to go quicker in the future, and we're already making positive plans for that.
Conor, I would be absolutely buzzing if you would agree to come back onto the podcast after your next triathlon, because you slipped it in there. You did make
Might
that
have slipped it in
qualification.
there. Might be wearing it proud at the moment.
Yeah,
So,
you got that slot for the Worlds. You're going to be racing in Nice now in a few weeks. Will you come back on and have a wee chat about that?
I definitely hope to tell you that I had just as perfect imperfect race. Who knows? Whatever comes my way, I just hope to get there off the bike unscathed and be on that run course. And as I said, it's the Ironman World Championships. If I'm on that run course with Blumenfeld, with Lionel Sanders, with Joe Skipper, you name it, they're all going to be there, Sam Lalo. That would be a dream come true. So hopefully I'll be able to tell you about it in a few weeks' time, Mick.
Brilliant stuff. Guys, that wraps up what has been an absolute epic couple of episodes. An absolutely fantastic display individually from every single one of you. And just as a club, it's been an absolute pleasure to be involved in it. And even just sitting on the sidelines, tuning in on the app, seeing all the pics, having all the chat, all the banter, and keep doing what you're doing. Stevie, keep the head up. I'll see you very shortly at another race soon. And Conor, all the very best for the next few weeks. Hopefully your training goes all to plan and there'll be no more mishaps now for your World Championship.
No more mishaps. I mean, geez, definitely not. I think there'll be a few candles lit for me in Nice for me to stay on that bike. And again, I think that people are going to be watching me every move on the Ironman Tracker app, and hopefully we will put in just as good a performance. Yes.
No doubt you will.
Thank you.